Welcome everyone. It's another day, another Afro rooted. Um, my name is Agaazi. You already know that. And Kenna is here with me. How's it going,
Yeah,
Kenna?
yeah, we're back, man. Happy to be back because other than Ethiopia, Senegal was my second favorite team.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Similar
I'm
colors
pretty
too.
much yeah, similar colors, man. Like that's the only two jerseys I have is the Ethiopian jersey and the Senegal jersey.
Yeah, or you can just
And
wear one jersey and represent each country differently.
oh yeah. I started wearing the Senegal jersey as soon as Ethiopia got knocked out. So I'm pretty happy for this. The first win. So, and I feel like it was really exciting, man. And they truly are the kings of Africa right now. And yeah, big up Senegal.
Did you have a bit of doubt any time during the match in that final? We won't go into it just yet, but it was
Yeah.
very tense. And I was just like, did you have any doubt that they wouldn't win it?
To be honest with you, like Sadio Mane kind of missing that penalty was like, oh, what's gonna happen? I felt like historically, like Egypt is great at penalties. So to be honest with you, like going into the penalties, like I was really scared for Senegal. Like I thought like they should have won like a regular time, and because they outplayed Egypt in my opinion.
Mm.
And
Mm. Yeah.
I feel like Egypt only had like a couple of spells within like in the 70th minute or something, and a little bit in the extra time. But I felt like Senegal was very dominant and they deserved it. But my doubts was that like going into the penalties, I was like, oh, here we go again because we've seen time and time like Egypt hasn't lost a penalty shootout in a long time. So um,
No, and they came into the into this final like off the back of a penalty shootout. They won against Cameroon in the semifinals, and then it was
mhm.
also against Ivory Coast. They beat them in a penalty shootout. So yeah, if there was any team that you didn't want to get into a penalty shootout, it was surely against Egypt. But
Yeah,
yeah,
historically, yeah,
yeah, and then also historically as well. So yeah, I to some degree like even if Senegal probably or the favorites over Egypt, but yeah, I
yeah.
think you're right. When it comes to penalties, or it seemed like their
The
style of
the
play
only
was.
confidence I had with Senegal was that they had Mendy. So it's like I was like,
Oh
okay,
yeah,
at
yeah,
least they
that,
got Mendy. So you know what I mean? That's
and
like
it
your
showed.
reassurance. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And
Well,
the Egypt goalkeeper too, like he wasn't even the first choice goalkeeper, but he really grew into the tournament and became, I think, one of the best goalkeepers in the tournament. And uh, we gotta give him his props as well. Like he saved two penalties that game. The one against Mane, and then I believe he saved who was it? Bunasar's penalty, I think.
yeah, I remember, and it was
Yeah,
right after Egypt had missed, so it was also a very like colossal moment in the penalty shootout. So it's like, oh, yeah, damn, they got Senegal, but again, but before I think we really want to go into that final, but before that, let's just talk about how both teams got there. So Senegal and who they played against. They played a great game against Burkina Faso, 3-1 in the end, um, in the first semifinal.
oh
Really
yeah,
quickly, I think you watched that game. Obviously, we all watched it. But what did you think of
yeah.
that game and how Senegal overcame Burkina Faso?
Bro, what I think about that game, I feel like that was the better semifinal or more entertaining semifinal than the Egypt Cameroon game, in my opinion, because obviously there was a lot of goals
Mm-hmm.
and was one in regular time. But I feel like it was interesting, you know what I mean? Because uh, yes, like Senegal was like kind of winning and dominating, but like Burkina Faso gave them a run for their money, like Toure that scored them the goal for Burkina Faso.
Mm.
And for a minute there, like you're like, ooh, they're back in it. You know what I mean? And I felt like Burkina Faso pushed Senegal, and like I feel like in the round, like after the group stages, like Senegal's been getting pushed by their opponents. You know what I mean? Because I feel like they needed that. Like they needed to be shaken up a little bit, and uh, what's his name? Burkina Faso, I feel like definitely gave them a run for their money, and it was an entertaining football that we were seeing on both sides, I think.
No,
And
100%. And even from, um, it was a goal that had it was a game that had goals from both the defender, midfielder, And I guess another attacking midfielder, Ismail Assar, came back from injury. Uh, let's talk about him just like for a hot second, where it's like, I remember a few weeks ago, Watford did not want to release this man, and then they brought him, and I think we may or may not have talked about it, but I don't know. I didn't know how I felt about bringing someone who's injured and came so late. Yeah, boy, was I wrong. That probably came back
Yeah,
to bite me. But
Cyrus is definitely not a player you would want to leave out. You know what I mean? I feel like
even if
he's
he isn't,
definitely yeah. Like if there's the slightest chance that he will make it, like he could make it like at least even like a 1 or 2 games. Like I feel like you would take that chance because again, you might not know how far you're gonna go in the tournament, and I feel like Senegal took him because like that shows you also their mentality. They're like, okay, we're in this from the long run. Like you know what I mean? And they were there. You know, they were there to the final and they won it at the end. But since they had gone so far, like I feel like he played a key part in this tournament, like coming in. How many games? I think he played 2 or 3 games, if I'm not
three
mistaken.
games, yeah, total.
3 games, and those last 3 games, look at how like he did like make an impact. If you think about it, like I'm not saying he's the only one that did that, but like he was a key part of that. You know what I mean? I think it was it in the final or the semis? Like he had a lot of crosses. You know what I
The
mean? Like
final,
he was
yeah,
making
for
the final.
Saudi.
Yeah, he was making in a lot of good balls. Like they weren't being converted into goals, but you know the service was there. Like he had amazing service. So that again, that's why you don't leave out players like that. You know, if there's a chance you could take him, you take him with you. And
Yeah,
but I guess it is kind of difficult because Senegal has a deep squad. You know what I mean? So it's like, who do you leave out? But I mean, Assar is like he's pretty much the golden boy of Senegal, I would say. You know.
yeah, and aside from Ismail Sarr and Sadio Mane playing a great game in that match, someone else who also got a lot of recognition was the referee, the Ethiopian referee, Bamlak
Oh
Dasam.
yeah,
He was
that's some.
let alone praised by fans online, like even by I was even seeing newspapers like the Daily
Yeah.
Mail writing reports like, "Wow, this referee did such a great job in officiating." I was also impressed because he overturned two VARs and
Hmm.
decisions, and it seemed he was very like it was very quick, very efficient. He did a great job, and I think a lot of people expect to see
Hmm.
him at the next World Cup again. So, yeah, I think he was a big star of the show that
Definitely, man. I think he mastered the art of using the VAR, man. Because I mean, to be honest with you, like there was a lot of bad calls being made, even like with the VAR, and I feel like he used this to make a better decision. Like this is initially that's why the VAR was created is for the refs to make better decisions, and we saw time and time again that like a lot of referees, despite having VAR, still continued on making bad decisions, and I felt like that wasn't the case in that game, and I feel like he handled the game pretty well. And taking away that yellow card and everything, it's like, and the fashion that he did it with, and a lot of people were talking about like how he was smiling, but yet like he was like
yeah,
very
it's
assertive.
I know what
So
you
it's
mean.
like that he handled it well. It's like he smiled, like you could tell that he's happy to be there, and he's happy to do his job. So I feel like that's great.
No, no, 100%, and it was really nice and refreshing just because we've talked about it. This whole tournament has been we've had a few poor refereeing incidents, and
Hmm.
it seems like uh, those are the moments you see, or a lot of people who aren't even as interested in the tournament would look and point see refereeing in this tournament is hopeless, and it's like thank God we don't have that here in the Prem or elsewhere.
Yeah,
But yeah, well done to him, and he serves as a great example to many referees on the continent. But I guess moving away from that semifinal to the next, it was Egypt Cameroon. I'll say this, I'll preface this, I was very disappointed by Cameroon because I think, again, they had a lot of chances, and they kind of, I don't want to say they let it slip away, but Egypt
I mean they kind of
knew
did.
what they were doing. Yeah, they killed it in
Yeah,
the second half. They just kind of, and then the penalty shootouts, yeah, I think it was equivalent to. I don't want to talk about that shootout either. But how
yeah.
was that game for you? From
For me too, again, like I felt like Cameroon was the dominant side in that game. and they had a lot more chances. But um, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if you heard the post game was it interview or comment that Abubakar gave, Vincent Abubakar.
No, no, I
Uh,
didn't.
it was I think it was in yeah, it was in French as well. But like he was really angry, and one of the comments he made was he said that like throughout this tournament they've all been playing as a collective, and he felt like that game some players were more individualistic with their approach to that game. That was his comment, but again, like he was heated, like it was like in they caught him right after they
Yeah,
lost.
yeah, yeah.
But like that was kind of like the comment that he made. Like to be honest with you, like it was hard for me to tell that in the game. But it's just from his comment, and I feel like obviously the players would feel it. Like like since they know each other very well. Like I'm just taking his word for it. Maybe that has to do something with the way things ended up. But at the end of the day, I feel like Cameroon had a very good tournament. And they
Kind of
they did
much.
their best, and I mean, it would have been nice to see them in the final, just because I feel like they were the better side, and I feel like they could have challenged Senegal a bit more, and maybe we would have seen a lot more goals in the finals. But man, well done to Egypt on that game, because I mean, one thing Egypt has been good at it here is defending. They've been really good at defending. Like their goalkeepers are on point, and at the end of the day, results speak for themselves. Like uh,
I I think about that a little bit, and maybe even a few of my friends we kind of joke and complain that maybe they're too defensive and it's boring and it's not fun to watch. And yeah, from a entertainment point of view, it isn't.
mhm.
Maybe not. Yeah, I'm looking for goals. Not gonna lie, but
Yeah,
I want to see action. But there is some beauty to defending and how they defend and how they kind of control it, and just kind of kill it as well. But do you think that's it? Just do you think that that is an effective way to play in general? I guess depending on maybe their
I mean,
firepower.
to be honest with you, I mean, results speak for themselves. Like everybody has different approaches. Like this is sort of like a Mourinho approach, if
That
you
was
want to
yeah. That
go
guy.
like over, it worked for him. You know what I mean? Like, but like if you ask me my personal preference, that when I like I'm not for that type of style. Like I like results. I want to win, but usually like I feel like it would be good with winning with like while playing football. Like I want to see a game of football. That's what I signed up for. You know what I mean? And like I like to see a good game that comes with that. And I understand like I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Like I like attacking football, but I mean defense is a part of the game. But I feel like that should be well balanced or complemented with a great attack. And I feel like for a team to be complete, you need to have both. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. So then I think probably from that kind of very lull, boring game, and maybe a disjointed Cameroon team, the third place match was probably I don't know like
Ooh,
a burst of electricity, and I was
yeah.
like, damn, these guys just collapsed 3-0 down. um,
3-0 down. You
what
thought like, wow,
happened?
man,
What
Cameroon
happened
is
to these
really yeah.
guys? What do you think happened, or even I don't know? Run it through me,
To
like just recap it
to
for
be
me.
honest with you, I felt like what happened was like, like the way personally, I think like, they went in there. Burkina Faso, I felt like from the get-go were like, okay, they had a great attitude, like they were happy to be there. They're trying to get their, third place and leave. Whereas Cameroon, I feel like that last game really hurt their team spirit, I would say. Like, I mean, it didn't hurt them as much, but like, as if you see, like, even in the third place game, like pre-game, they had the same pre-game ritual. They were going into the dressing room singing and chanting, and you know what I mean. It was like a one
Mhm,
last
mhm,
hurrah for
mhm.
them. But like their approach, at least in the first half, or like for the better half, like for a part of the game, like for like the first yeah, for the first like three goals they got scored on, I feel like they were a bit, they were, you could
Like
tell that it's not the final. Like, it's like if we lose this, it's not a big deal, kind of kind of thing. Like I kind of felt that vibe. But I feel like they realized like we're at home, and like I know the last thing we could like, that like we have to give our people something. Like we're playing in front of our people. We didn't win the tournament, so it's like the least we could do is win this game, give him like a something, like a consolation prize, and at the end, like you had a Vincent Abubakar that was still competing for his like record. I feel like I feel like that played a huge factor in the fact that they won that game. Like he scored 2 goals in that game. I mean, he didn't beat the record, which is not like 9 goals, but he was like the first player in like 40 something years that scored 8 goals in this tournament. So that was
Yeah,
pretty big. And
I agree with you a lot. Where it's like, I was thinking about that as well because it's like I feel like there's a lot of disappointment after the Egypt match and that loss in the penalty shootout. It was a very poor penalty shootout, and then it seemed like not. I don't want to use the word poetic justice, but they come back from 3-0 down to 3-3. People are excited again. Goes in extra time, then
yeah,
goes to penalties, and then after an embarrassing penalty shootout, they won it there, and then even the celebration afterwards, like, yeah, don't tell me third place doesn't mean anything. Like, it meant something, or I think the victory in the way they did it was really important. You see Samuel
yeah,
Eto'o dancing with the players down,
yeah.
like,
That shows you like they have. To be honest with you, I feel like third place games. I feel like it's a mental challenge as well because if you think about it, like you're kind of down, but at the same time, I feel like you taking a third place game seriously shows the respect you have for the game.
mhm.
Like I feel like for me, that's what it comes down to, and then it comes down to okay, like we gave it our all. Like it's not just a consolation, but like it's also like you keep your spirits up, then you move forward. You know what I mean? Like how do you want to end it? Like how do you want to go out? Like do you want to go out completely losing or like you want to salvage something out of it? So I
Right.
don't know. I feel like basically, I feel like it's about respecting the game at that point.
Yeah, no, and if anything, it definitely put some excitement to Saturday to that end, and it was a Cameroon team that did deserve. They had a good tournament. They scored a lot of goals, um, and it's like I'm definitely gonna miss them, and I definitely enjoyed them as
Yeah,
well. But again, it was weird going from a game that was 3-3, then went to penalties, to a game that was 0-0, went to penalties with the Egypt Senegal final. Um, let's start off there then to talk about the final. Uh,
yeah.
Sadio
Like
Mane gets a penalty,
leading into
right?
the final, I feel like one thing I want to add on, like leading into the final, is the course that Egypt had going to the final. Like I feel
Oh,
like a lot of
the
people were
route.
comparing it. Yeah, the route. I feel like a lot of people were comparing it to Portugal's 2016
Oh,
campaign in the Euros. You know how they were like third best, and then
oh
basically they
yeah.
won most of all their games in like the last
That
after 90 minutes, and then they ended up winning the final. So it's like I felt like Egypt kind of went that route, except they didn't win the final.
yeah, it was ironic too because they had a
Because I feel
Portuguese
like they only
manager
scored what, how
too.
many 4 goals or something in regular time, something like that.
Yeah,
Like
it was.
they scored a very low amount of goals. I think
They scored two in the group stages, and I think they scored
they scored just
one.
like the amount needed to make the finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they started off with a 1-0 loss to Nigeria. I will admit that Egypt did play a lot of the tougher, mm, the tougher or big teams in
Yes.
Africa, from Nigeria, Morocco, Ivory Coast, Cameroon. Like, yeah, I will.
Yeah.
They do give some kudos and respect to.
I feel like their
Um,
their best game was against Morocco, in my
yeah,
opinion. I
yeah.
feel
I
like
I do think so
that's where like
too.
you know what I mean. Like they display like that's where I saw in Egypt that was like okay, you know what I mean. Like they're here for a reason. Like I feel like that game was like probably their best game out of the tournament. Like that was what quarterfinals, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, it
quarterfinals.
was, yeah, because around 16 they played Ivory
But
Coast, and then
yeah,
then they in that game I was like, yeah,
Ivory Coast,
oh,
Morocco, Cameroon. Yeah, that's a lot of
yeah,
they you
they
got to give them
definitely
props
didn't
for
have an
beating all
easy
those
way
teams.
getting there to the final.
Yeah.
I'll admit to
I
that.
guess it's just that like they didn't entertain me though. Like it
Mm,
comes down to that, like how we were talking about earlier. I
yeah,
feel like there's something missing, like in that team. I feel like, and like their attacking game is, I don't know, it's not as impressive to be honest.
yeah. I think it seems I don't want to say that they just passed to Mohamed Salah and just expect some magic, but I don't know. Would you say he hasn't? He just him in general, like his tournament, it hasn't been that spectacular. I'd say he's had
I
a
mean,
great
I
moment.
don't think he's had a bad tournament, but I just think that, like we said, like a lot of things I feel like rest on him. Like media, like the whole focus is on Mo Salah. You know, what I mean, a whole nation is depending. Not that I don't want to say they're just depending on one player because, like, you
Yeah,
know, because
they're like
most of this tournament was won because I mean they've made it to the final because of their defense. It's not because of Mo Salah. You know. So yeah, like the keeper, and I think was another good defender was I think what was his I forgot his name, but he's an Al Hali defender, number two I
I
think he
think I know
was.
which one you're talking about.
I, I don't know if his name is Muhammad or
Yeah, number two,
I
you're right.
forgot his name.
Mohammed Abdul Monem. Abdel
Yeah,
Monem. Again, sorry
yeah,
for the pronunciation. Ugh, it's
but yeah, Muhammad, like I feel like to me, like I feel like he's one of the best players at this tournament. And I think he did make the what you call it, the starting 11 or like or the tournament or something.
the
And I
AFCON
think that was what of the
team of the
AFCON
tournament.
team of the tournament. Yeah, I think he made that. So you know, like they had a pretty good defense. So, but let me coming back to our point, which is Mo Salah. I felt like the media's focus is on him. You know, like a lot of people's focus is on him. So you know, by his standards, like you expected a lot from him, but at the end of the day, you're only as good as your teams. You know what I mean? As your team is, and he did for me like that Morocco game is where he really shined and performed, and he brought that fire. You know, and the rest of the time, I feel like you know I mean in the Senegal game they had him handled because Senegal is another team that had his great defense. I feel like Senegal is built on great defense, but also they have the attacking
Yeah,
capabilities. You know what I mean?
it's more
Because
balanced, I'd say.
yeah, Senegal also made it to the out of the group stages because of their defense, and then later on in later stages, like they were forced to bring their attacking side out. You know what I mean? So I felt like at the end it was like a nice combination we were seeing, where it's like in the back it's like you have Mendy in goal, best keeper in the world right now, and you have you know Koulibaly in the back, one of the top defenders in the world. You know what I mean? And in the midfield you have stars like Idrissa Gana Gueye, who's very solid. You have Sheku Kouyaté that's in and out. Like you have a lot of options in the midfield, like where
Oh, the
they just
midfield as
switch a
well.
lot of players.
It's
You
very
know?
rich. Even one player I liked
Yeah.
from that team, from the Senegal, was Mendy. I was like, oh,
Mendy, yeah, no, ooh, yeah, oh
I
yeah,
think I was scouting for
definitely.
Man United. I was like, we definitely could need this guy. He looks pretty good. We need it.
Yeah. Mendy was good. What's his name? On the wings too, you had the options like Ismail Assar, like we talked about earlier. Like he came in on the attacking, like on the front line, you have obviously Sadio Mane and then Famara Jeju. And then Jeju was like, I think one of the top scorers for Senegal in the World Cup qualifiers,
Hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, having Jeju and Mane, and I feel like they just have a lot of great options, you know, when it comes to just any position for that matter,
Yeah,
you
and
know.
I
And they had
also
also, what's the name, the PSG defender?
Diallo.
Abdou Diallo, yeah.
Yeah,
Diallo.
I liked him a lot, and I thought he played a great game. He was getting forward and supporting Sara, but I think it was the other fullback. I forgot his name. I can pull his name up real quick, but I really enjoyed him.
Cis, right?
Yeah, yes,
Cis.
him.
Yeah, Cis
He's
was
the one
good.
who helped get the first penalty against Egypt, like within
Yeah.
what 15 minutes or 20 minutes,
It was like
underneath time.
five, yeah, yeah,
Oh
early,
yeah,
super early,
5 minutes.
yeah,
Oh yeah, it was under ten
or
minutes.
seven or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
super early though. Yeah.
yeah, and then Sadio Mane came up to take it.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
What do you think about that? The Sadio Mane, you know, it was
I
like I think Mo Salah was going to like was saying, I feel like he got into Sadio Mane's head. Like,
Yeah, I was just I was laughing actually, just watching the whole thing unravel because you see, yeah, what's his name, Gabansky or sounds a bit Polish, but
Abu Gabal, right?
Gabul.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
So Salah comes up to the defender, holds his mouth like this, and it's like kind of pointing or like kind of telling him, and then And then Sadio Mane just comes out of nowhere and is like, "Yeah, I'm pointing, I'm shooting over there." Later
Yeah,
on NBC Egypt, he the goalkeeper spoke and he told him that like, "Yeah, Salah told me to go left," but then Sadio was like, "Go right instead." In the end, he went in the middle, which is just like okay, but it was kind of funny. It was a little strange too because yeah, I
yeah.
whenever I see these two
I
guys, I
felt
think
like,
of
to be
Liverpool.
honest with you, like when I was watching that game, I think on halftime it was like I mean we have Super Sport here, so
Yeah, yeah,
our the pundits are Asamoah and JJ Okocha,
yeah,
and I think Okocha was saying that like it showed like that was like a rookie mistake, you know what I mean? It shows like you just kept your composure, and at that point like he shouldn't have gotten involved in that, you know what I mean? Like let him speak whatever he speaks, just focus on taking the penalty and calm yourself. And then but I felt like he got riled up. And most I feel like Mo Salah's thing also was to like either not just help his teammate out, but it was also I feel like to get into
Mane's
Sadio
head.
Mane's head, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
And he did get in his head, and Mane was just like, he was just like you could sense the fury in that shot. It was like it was super heavy, and then ended up missing that penalty. But I mean, he made it up. Like the props to him because like on the penalty shootout, he did score the winning penalty. So
yeah,
he went the same way. Like he went left again and then scored. Like keeper drove the right way, but like he was just more focused and he put it in.
yeah, it felt a bit full circle that moment because it was like, um, well, first about the composure thing. Yeah, I don't really. I think especially in finals or certain type of teams, like they'll try to rile you up. Like,
Hmm.
it wasn't an AFCON, but I remember in a game earlier in the season, Aston Villa versus United back at Old Trafford. Emi Martinez is like saying to Fernandez, "No, I don't want you to take the penalty. I want Ronaldo." And he's getting in his head. And I mean, this one isn't a little similar, but I always feel like goalkeepers or other players are just trying to mess with you. And
Yeah,
you
it's a
you
mind
you've,
game.
you've played. I mean, maybe not that sort of level, but like everyone's just like trying to say something, covering their mouth and saying like, "Yeah, don't miss" or something
Yeah.
ridiculous, just so you just a little thing
Or
to
yeah,
get you off.
there or maybe like for all we know, like Salah might not have said anything. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
now you told us that he said something, but you could just the fact of you like saying something or whatever, you're just trying to get in your player's head, and like that's a part of the game is it's the mind games. You know what I mean? That you're playing, and penalties has a lot to do with that. Keepers, they maybe they sometimes they probably I don't know, hit the post twice or like the crossbar or whatever, trying to and then are super
Mm.
super loud in your face to kind of like rile you up. It's basically throwing you off. That's all it is. And then at the end of the day, it's about you focusing and then scoring. You know what I mean?
It's yeah.
But penalties could go anyways. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you're the best player in the world. Like we've seen the best miss. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's just keeping your composure and then and I don't know. Penalties are tough, man, because it's hard to decide. Like I feel like any game that ends in a penalty leaves room for like a lot of argument, and like it becomes an open-ended discussion where rather than like yeah, this team deserved or whatever.
Yeah, you're like
You
if
know,
only he had
whereas
scored.
if you were to win in regular times, like it's done. The conversation is that you just seal it. But penalty, I feel the penalties like kind of leave room for doubt and discussion. But in this case, I don't think it did because I feel like Senegal handled themselves in the final. I feel like they deserved it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
feel like they dominated the game. So at the end of the day, I feel like it was justice done. But a lot of the times we've seen that a lot of not necessarily the dominant team that wins these types of like penalty shootouts. It ends up becoming like the lucky team. you know.
yeah. What I found interesting was sometimes teams get demoralized or get like just or even the other team gets reinvigorated. So for example, as soon as Mane missed a penalty, it wasn't as if Senegal went back to sleep. They or were afraid. Like they kept going. And you're saying exactly what you said earlier. Ismail Assar was just putting in crosses, cross after cross. Mane just maybe missed him by a few feet, but he was getting in. He was motivated to score. and Senegal still were the better team in the first half, and maybe it was only
Yep.
until the second half, after Egypt made a few changes, that things were starting to change for them. But still Senegal were more dangerous than Egypt.
Yep. No, definitely, man. Most definitely. And
Yeah,
at the end of the day, man, big ups to Senegal, man. Proud of Aliou Cisse as well. Like we were talking about him before, man. It's a really great to see him win because as we were talking about, I think previously before this podcast that his journey is amazing. Like he captained the team in 2002, leading them to the quarterfinals. They what you call it? He was in the final, leading the finals as the captain in 2002 in the AFCON. I think they played against Cameroon and lost that game. And the previous AFCON, he was also the coach and took him to the finals. And this final, see basically like all the finals the Senegal have made in the AFCON is with him, and then it's only that right that he wins it. And I think I saw a post on I think it was LinkedIn maybe. Somebody put like we also need to, I feel like, give props to the Senegalese Federation, man, because they really trusted him. Like,
mm,
it's like they saw something in him. And like, first of all, this guy was a captain. Like, he was the right person for that team, and he's a great coach. And I feel like they were really patient with him. It took him 8 years to win a cup with them, basically. And I feel like even though he hadn't won the cups previously, like he showed great potential and he showed that he was building something. And I feel like they were really patient with him. They did not fire him. They did not hire like a foreign coach, or they did, or just, what I mean? They just stuck by him and they trusted the process. So, and they got rewarded for it at the end of the day. And I feel like this should be, a case, not, it should be like what you call it, like an example for the rest of the African nations.
ah,
You know
so
what I
like a
mean?
blueprint, let's say.
A blueprint, yep. And the previous AFCON, if you think about it, when Algeria won it, Algeria had their own coach too, homegrown. So it's like, we're seeing a new trend. Like I feel like back to back, teams winning it with their own coach from their own country. It's kind of like, they're kind of, it's like a paradigm shift almost, where like I feel like more we might, it's going to be hopefully it's a trend that we're going to see continuing. Like, and it's gonna be interesting to see how um I think Ghana, like teams like Ghana and like Algeria, or was it Algeria or Tunisia? Like they're on the lookout for new coaches. There's a bunch of like
Yeah,
African teams that are on the lookout for new coaches, and it will be interesting to see what kind of choices they go with. And even with the Nigeria, like hopefully they keep this coach. They have an interim coach, but hopefully they keep him, because I feel like despite them losing or getting knocked out, they showed great potential. And you know what I mean? I feel like seeing something like this, I feel like they just need to be more patient with this guy and see where he takes him.
that's a good point because I think sometimes you'll mostly have a lot of European coaches. They'll come
Mm-hmm.
over to Africa, and obviously they're happy when they have success and they'll do a good job. But was Lucy say it was it's you could tell that he really cared. You could tell that it meant a lot for him, and I guess
Mm-hmm.
maybe a bit of like redemption 20 years later on when he was
Oh
one of the
yeah.
most when he missed one
Even
of the
in the, I
penalties.
don't know if you noticed, but in the celebration, like he had his former teammates and and Senegalese legends, Kalidou Fadiga and
Oh,
El Hadji Diouf joined the celebration. There's like videos with them, like like the old legends coming in together, essentially, like they were celebrating with them, like when they had the trophy and everything. And I felt like that was just like a great moment to see. And behind the scenes, like these people were, these legends are supporting Senegal, in any way possible. They go to every game. And I feel like that just kind of, like you said earlier, it's like a full circle moment for them almost,
yeah,
where, and it's something nice to see. Like these are players like I was super young probably, but like most of us have grown up like seeing these players, and then them coming back leading the next generation, and then winning their first cup. I feel like there's something about that moment that felt just so special.
yeah, they were all massive watershed moments. Just watching him celebrate, even with the team, he it's one thing, and I think you bring a good point where it's like which model works best. I mean, you can go different routes, and you can make an argument that Carlos Queiroz went to Egypt, and he became very
Yeah.
successful, and
Hmm.
implemented a very defensive team, and even someone, and then I also heard another argument. Well, he did well. Cisse did well because he has a great team, but
He did.
we've seen other teams who have star quality and still fall and tumble before the finishing
But you
line.
know what I'm saying? Like having a great team basically ends up like a lot of it comes down to the manager. Like a manager's job is to make sure that team works cohesively and
Mm.
they bring something together. Like I could give you 100 like
We give you
the
100
best
teams.
11 you could bring. I could give you like I'm saying the best 11 in the world, and if you don't know how to manage them, ego. When there's a lot of good players, there's a lot. Also, don't forget there's a lot of egos. You know what I mean? So you have to know how to manage and handle that. Like if you don't know how to do that, then you know you're gonna lose out on all what could have been. So I feel like at the end of the day, like he chose the players, he selected the players, he made sure that they played as a team, and he does deserve credit for that. Yes, he's lucky that Senegal has these talents, and like it's not just his coaching, but like I feel like throughout the years, like the academies, like the academies in Senegal, and the federation has put in some work, and I feel like it's a culmination like of a combination of a lot of things, but he is a key player in this win.
Yeah. So when they
And
returned to Senegal back on Monday, Tuesday, the president declared a national holiday, but I think the party went up
yeah.
until Wednesday. So I'm not sure
Oh man,
if your employees might have been missing if you're in
I
Senegal.
was watching a lot of Instagram. So I have like from my Senegalese friends, and so the Senegalese brothers, man, and it looked like they were having an amazing time. Like it looked like Dakar was just that's where you wanted to be, man.
No,
The celebrations are just amazing, man. And it shows you again too, like how I feel like the sport is truly appreciated in Africa, and then that's also a great way to express our who we are like as
passion.
Africans. And so
That's a
that's what we witnessed. Yeah,
no, that's for sure. And congratulations to Senegal. Commiserations to Egypt as well. They played a decent tournament as well, I'd say.
yeah.
But again, like, and we'll cover this in another episode. But interestingly enough, it'll be Senegal versus Egypt in World Cup
Oh yeah,
qualifiers.
and the World Cup qualifiers. Yep.
Yeah, and then
Man, I feel like this is big. That they won the African Cup of Nations, but I feel like like enjoy the moment right now. Something to be present. But I feel like
the World
come
Cup.
March, which is next month, they have a very short amount of time to play in the World Cup qualifiers. I mean, yeah, the World Cup qualifier games, and they're playing Egypt again. And Egypt, I feel like is gonna come
They're gonna come
like they're
heavy.
gonna have they have a big target on their back now, Senegal. So I feel like they have to watch out. Like they shouldn't take it for granted, and I feel like they should go to work straight, and show why they deserve to be their African champions. And I feel like honestly, like I feel like I definitely want Senegal to go through in the World Cup because I feel like that's just the best African team we have, and I feel like I want to see an African team go make it even further. I feel like they should set their goals even higher. Like this team could challenge, and
They need to,
like, they
you
could
know.
break that quarterfinal barrier, or you know what I mean. Depends on obviously it depends a lot on who they get and how the tournaments go. You never know how tournaments play out, but why not? I feel like they should dream, and then they have the quality of the players to do it. Like they have good defense, good offense. Like they have a deep squad, so I feel like they could challenge any team at this point.
They're and this time it's gonna be much more cagier. It's gonna come because it'll be home and away matches. You know,
Yep.
uh, one in Cairo and the other one in Dakar. So the environment's also gonna be different. The fans are gonna be different. The traveling, you know,
Hmm.
it's both environments are gonna be hostile to each other. So I agree. If Senegal want to make it there, and I feel like even now the Egyptians probably have their eye on that one. Like this is our chance for revenge.
Hmm.
dare I use that word, but to
Yeah.
kind of come back as
It's
well.
like a road to redemption type of deal.
Right, right. And I feel like
Type of deal.
they probably have pressure too from home, from people
Yeah.
back home and critics who say like, yeah, we have the, you know,
I
obviously
feel
we
like
have the
they're gonna
same
get their
approach.
heads down. I feel like they're back to work. I feel like Egypt is back to work right now. They don't even have the distractions of the celebrations and whatnot. So I feel like I hopefully the celebration does not take a toll on Senegal. I think that's the only thing I'm scared for them. Like it is, obviously,
It's yeah, you should
celebrations
enjoy
are,
the
are
moment,
needed,
100%.
definitely take it in, but also make sure you stay the kings of Africa. You know what I mean? Like I feel like them going to making it through the to the World Cup will just stamp that, like, hey, we're here. We're not here to joke around. Like we're Senegal and we got something to prove. And I feel like that would also give them maybe build a momentum going into the World Cup.
It's yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, how do you maintain it? And if anything, I asked this to my one friend, my one Egyptian friend. I asked him, would you rather win, would you rather win AFCON, or would you rather or qualify to Qatar World Cup? And I think he said, the World Cup, just because. I mean, it's important, but I think it's because the World Cup is every 4 years, whereas AFCON is
Hmm.
2022. So I guess
And it's a
AFCON
bigger
is every
stage
two
at
years.
the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah,
You're,
I think
you're
that's
playing like you're playing all the big stars in the world, and it's kind of it's the World Cup. You
yeah. I mean,
know
we'll
what I
talk
mean?
also later too about
Yeah.
there's only five places for African teams. So
Yeah.
and there's
Oh,
what
we're gonna
54
be. I
plus
feel like
54,
we're gonna
55
do a
nations.
whole special or series for that,
Oh
man.
yeah, yeah, that one. We'll get down
Making
to
our
that
case
one.
why we should earn more spots.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's
Like
it'll
we
be
shouldn't choose between a Senegal or Egypt. Like they should both make it if we're really speaking. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, if anything,
But
I
but
think
that's not
we
the
shouldn't
case.
have to. But yeah, those dates are meant for March 23rd. The first game is going to be in Cairo, and the second game is going to be March 29th. So it'll be 6 days apart. We'll be looking forward to that. We'll be talking about those games a lot
Yeah.
later. But let
And
me ask you this.
one,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say like before we wrap this up too. Like I feel like we should like mention like our personal like favorite moments of
Oh yeah.
the AFCON, and like best like goals that we saw or top performers. Like let's get into that a little bit if before we finish at
Oh
least.
no, no, no. We have to. It's one thing I think it's very important because I'd say this, like, I definitely missed AFCON because 2019 was a great tournament and I really did enjoy it.
Hmm.
And then this one, 2021. I mean, it was 2022, but 21 was great. Post COVID, 2 years later.
Hmm.
Um, and I'll admit, at first it was kind of slow for me, where like I didn't enjoy how slow the game started. The first two rounds, and
Yeah, the
then
first
it
two
started
rounds,
picking.
like all the games, if I'm not mistaken, like other than like the Cameroon game specifically, like every game ended 1-0. If
Yeah,
you notice, like there wasn't more than one goal being scored in a game.
yeah. It was just too it was too slow, and I don't think I didn't enjoy it how slow it was, but I think it picked up, and then that's where
Oh,
like
it picked up real quick, man.
yeah.
Like after after the third round, after like group stages, I feel like from then on it was just it's like game on.
I think as soon as Algeria got knocked out, I was like, oh, okay, this is a serious. Okay, now we're ready. Now we're ready, boys.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
I think Ghana got knocked out first, though, right? Or no?
mm. Might
But
might have
either
to
ways,
might have to check with
but
my
either ways, I
my
feel like
guy.
when they got knocked out, like
Yeah, no.
um, that's when like it picked up.
Um, so there was one moment I did like. I mean, there. So one match. Okay, so I'll start off with the first match, and I say, I mean, it's kind of late, but obviously it had to be. I think the Burkina Faso game, where it's kind of like I don't think I'd seen a comeback, in this tournament in such a large margin from 3-0 down to
Hmm.
3-3. And I was thinking about other matches as well where I think I forgot which team it was. A team that played against Morocco, and it was a wonder goal. and then Ashraf Hakimi.
Oh yeah, the Malawi goal with Mongo, man.
Yeah, that was. I was thinking about that game and
I'm
that
sorry,
moment
I
as
forgot
well.
how to spell his name, but
Yeah,
was it
we'll
Mahanga?
come
Yeah.
back in the notes. We'll mention
But
that.
yeah,
But
that golazo for me was like goal of the tournament.
that's
The
goal with
first
tournament. I
goal of the
100%.
tournament.
Um, but that's also the thing. There was a lot of crazy goals, a lot of like high quality like golazos like
Long
in the
ranges. Yeah,
tournament. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Even from Comoros against
yeah.
was
I
it
was like
Cameroon? Yeah.
Ashraf Hakimi. He's probably two direct free kicks.
Hakimi's his free kicks were yeah. And
Yes.
funny enough, like in that game, in that same game when they scored like those two goals, you know what I'm saying? Seeing those two goals like in the Malawi game,
Mm,
like two of the like one of the like the top goals were in one game, and that game was really entertaining too, seeing Malawi because I feel like Malawi went into that like they gave it all, like and I don't think they had a lot of pressure on their back, like because a lot of people were not expecting them to make it that far anyways, and they're playing against Morocco, like one of the favorites at that point, and I feel like they handled themselves pretty well, and I think when they went back home, they received a really warm welcome from all the Malawian fans. Like they were super proud of them, and it was great to see. It's like you know, they're pretty much holding the flag for East Africa out there.
yeah. And then we'll talk about the other East African team. I think they did well, and I think Ethiopia. You know, yeah, it was tough. I think the first two losses, but I think people definitely got a better idea of what kind of football they play and um, their style so much more. The passing, the possession style.
Mhm.
Them. Another game.
And it's also I feel like for Ethiopia, I feel like this is more of an experience thing. You know what I mean? It's just the players are exposed to higher level now, so it's like, and then most of the one thing I like about the Ethiopian team is that it's a young team, so I feel like this is a team that can that can qualify next AFCON, and then I feel like if they do qualify next AFCON, first of all, it's an achievement because right, like you're kind of setting an expectation, like what I mean, as a federation or like as a nation as well, like we're not gonna be as surprised to see them in the AFCON anymore. Like I feel like we should get to the used to the idea of playing it regularly, and I feel like that from that experience, from those experiences will come, like the performances will come with it as well.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
expectations grow where it becomes,
Like
even
qualifying is not gonna be like enough
yeah,
anymore. You know what I
people
mean?
aren't gonna celebrate as if it's a big achievement. It's required. It's expected. I think the
Hmm.
last team to qualify, they did. It was amazing, and it was under amazing circumstances against Sudan in 2013 or 2012. They overcame a
Yeah.
deficit and scored 2-0, and yeah, it was a great moment. But I think building on from this success, I mean, the success of qualifying, and then they scored goals in the tournament. It wasn't as if they went
Yeah.
empty-handed, but
Last time
um,
the first time they scored, I mean not first time, but I guess was
the
it
one against
AFCON
Cameroon,
2014? Yeah, 2014 or
yeah,
was it 2013? And the AFCON, like they only scored one goal. Now they scored two goals. I know one is a
yeah,
penalty,
yeah.
but
It sounds minuscule,
it's an
but
improvement.
yeah, it's
And I mean, like, and they drew against Burkina Faso, which is not an easy team. Like they made it to the semis. You know what I mean? And Burkina was not a team to mess
yeah.
around.
All the teams they made it out of the group, so um, yeah, it wasn't as if it was like you just probably steamroll them all. Like
Yeah.
it was
And
it was a
given
challenging
the
group.
groups, like if we had a different group, maybe we would have made it through. I mean, obviously anybody could say that, but it's
Yeah,
just
it's only in hindsight we're like, oh, well, this
yeah.
XYZ happened. But you're right. I think
But I
it
am
it
happy
seems cool.
for Abu Bakr Nasser
Oh yeah,
who
he's
got
moving.
who basically has a pre-contract agreement. Basically, like he has an agreement with I think Mamelodi Sundowns, which is like almost done, almost a done deal. I mean, I think
Yeah,
yeah, I was watching a report on it. I feel like I sent it to you before or
yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah. I was watching that too.
But there was an hour long what you call it because there was a lot of like discussions going around with Abu Bakr Nasser where it's like, oh, this player has signed, or he's on trial. You know, they're gonna loan him back to Buna. And there was one episode or like there was one an hour long a radio show from Bisrat FM here in Ethiopia,
Mm.
hosted by you know, famous Ethiopian football journalist Mansour Abdul Kani.
Mm.
And yeah, and he basically he had a phone call with one of the board members from Buna, and basically the guy just cleared up everything that was, you know, being done. I mean, they just didn't disclose the amount that he was going to be sold for, but uh you know, for all the, you know, Amharic listeners, maybe we'll put it in the link below
Yeah.
or something, and
We'll
you
get
could
a
check out the
subtitle
full.
or a translation.
Yeah. But for all the Amharic speakers, I feel like we could put it in the we could put the link below for you guys to check it out. But basically cleared up a lot of things on how Abu Bakr's deal was or is. And it seems like basically the only thing left for him to do is uh, agree on personal terms with the club. But the discussions between the clubs is already done, and they've agreed on a number and everything, and they have like a pre-contract agreement. Like they tried to sign him before, you know, the January window was closed, so that's why they were kind of like speeding things up. But like since like they couldn't make it on time, they decided that it's better for them to kind of like, you know, have him join in like the June when the transfer window opens
Mm.
back up during the summer, and kind of like loan him back to Buna in a sense. So he's going to be finishing out his year at Buna, and then at the same simultaneously, like he'll have to agree on personal terms, and then he'll go to South Africa. And that discussion also, like I think one thing that they mentioned was you know, like the Sundowns, like before the AFCON actually, where there was a lot of clubs that were after him because of how he was performing in the Ethiopian Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the Ethiopian Premier League is being watched on DSTV now, so like they, you know,
They
South
have
African
access.
company, so they have a, yeah, they have access to it, and a lot of agents and a lot of people were watching it. And they were about to sign him right away, but when this season started, like, you know, last season he scored 29 goals, yeah, 29 goals. Like he broke the record for top scorer in Ethiopia. And only 13 teams were playing last year, so it was only like 20 something games. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
the
what I
games
mean,
are
you do
less.
the math. He had 3 hat-tricks during the
Mm.
3 hat-tricks, and then was scoring one, he was scoring at least once or twice in
The
one
26
a
games they
game.
had, yeah, because
Yeah,
13 teams, 2 home and
or
away.
like, yeah, 13 teams, so like home and away, and then don't forget year one, so it's like 24, I think 24 games,
Yeah.
right? But
Oh
basically
yeah.
starting off this season, he only scored a few goals, so they were kind of like doubting him. Buna, they were telling Buna like, is his performance like declining? And they're like, okay, let's see him in the AFCON. And in the AFCON, he wasn't playing his preferred position, which is center forward, and that place was given to Getane.
Mm.
And I think it was against Cameroon that
They
that
switched it.
Abu Bakr started as a forward, but
Yeah.
he wasn't able to show much, so they were kind of like doubting his performances. So they came to an agreement where they're like, okay, let's have him on trial. You know, like they flew him out to South Africa for a week, and like, and at the trial they were really impressed with his display, and then that's how, you know, the rest is history basically.
What's his profile? Would you say? In like, what do Ethiopian fans think of him? Is he like the best
Oh,
player
for
on the
Ethiopian
team, or
fans, man,
like,
like he's like the golden boy of Ethiopia. You know what I mean?
yeah?
That's how they see him. Like, you know, they have a lot of respect for him, man, and they do hold him to high regards.
Because
And
I'd
he is a
say
hype. Yeah,
usually it's Gaetano who kind of steals the headlines, and you'll see his name on the score sheets whenever Ethiopia plays.
yeah.
But Abubakar, I think, like
But
you
that's
said,
because I feel like Getana has, like, you know, obviously he's older. He's more of a legend. You know what I mean? At this point, he's an established player. Like he's almost at the end of his career. Whereas Abu Bakr is just not just starting, but like he's basically an up and coming player. He's young, 21 years old, and he already played in the AFCON. So you know what I mean? And he broke Getana's record for top goal scorer like
oh,
last
in
year.
the
So
Ethiopian Premier League.
in the Ethiopian Premier League. So it's like, and like he hasn't. I feel like they hold Gaetano to a higher standard too, because or like in great regards because
because
he
of
was
who he
part
is.
of that whole. This is like he's done a lot more with the national team, and yeah, but I feel like that will change very soon. Like a lot of people will.
It's it's like you said earlier, where it's like it all kind of comes together with the Premier League, the Ethiopian Premier League, um, the players who are part of it, and the national team setup, where the and even like the broadcast deal they got with DSTV Supersport,
Mhm.
where it's like um, it's leading. It seems like it's going into a good direction. Maybe one that was kind of missing the last few years or a few decades,
Yeah,
but it seems now. I think there's fans of the Ethiopian national team shouldn't be too disappointed. Where it's like at least
yeah.
now you've gotten a preview, and the next Afcon is only what less than 18 months
18, yeah,
months
18
away,
months.
and
Yeah,
qualification starts soon. So there's no time to rest. Like it's getting back to work, uh, just like
exactly.
Senegal do in the World Cup. Like okay, now it's back for the national team as well
For
to get back
Ethiopia
to it.
too. Yeah, the work starts now. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like whenever it's the AFCON, like that's when everybody has their eyes on you. But for national teams, players, and anybody in football, really, like there is until your career is done. Like there's no rest time. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-mm.
it's go go go. You know what I mean? You need to have the mentality of like improving and building on something. And for for especially for us as like the with the Ethiopian national team and like the way our football is like there is a lot of potential, but we have a lot of work to do, and it's like it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop next AFCON. It's gonna continue the work, and we have to start now to like how can we make it better? Like it's just we got to keep building and building. So yeah, there's no rest really. You know what I mean?
No, no, I agree. But wait, I also wanted to ask you real quick. Tell me some of your, but
Yeah.
to the Afcon real quick. Not that, but you never tell me what some of your favorite moments or some of your, you know, favorite players
Favorite
too of
games?
the tournament.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is tough, man.
I've got time.
Favorite moments? I mean, the best, obviously, nothing is gonna top seeing Senegal win their first AFCON. But other than that, like my favorite games, I would say was I'll keep saying this, but like one of my favorite games was the Equatorial Guinea versus Ivory Coast in the group stages. That was one of my favorite games.
Oh yeah,
Um, I think the Senegal Burkina Faso is up there for me too.
yeah. I'm telling you, man. It was.
That game is up there for me, and yeah, those are my feel like my two favorite games that I want to mention, and the Malawi game I think I enjoyed pretty well as well. Malawi Morocco.
I think
When
Equatorial
it,
Guinea
yeah,
has to be your favorite team. I thought you were gonna pick those guys because I feel like you were. I don't know. You were kind of a bit
I like the
supportive.
way they qualified, but I don't know. There was something about them that was great. Like I like the way they played and stuff. I liked it, like I said, like they played quick football, and I like to see that. You know what I mean? I feel like they were entertaining for me, basically. Another favorite moment was seeing Gambia make it to the quarterfinals, man. Their debut African AFCON debutants, and and speaking of favorite, like one of my favorite players, I feel like from this tournament was Musa Baro.
Oh yeah, yeah. I really liked him as well.
Yeah, Musa Baro. From Senegal, one of my favorite players was Bamba Dieng because I saw his like a couple of his games in Marseille before this tournament. He had like a bicycle kick that he scored for Marseille. So I was like really looking forward for him, like, cause like he's an up and coming player.
Hmm.
And I feel like he won one of man of the match in one of the games, and he scored a couple of goals this tournament. So I feel like that's definitely an African talent we should watch out for is Bamba Dieng. Uh, Another player, well, there's a lot of players I feel like that shined this tournament, like a lot of youngsters.
Yeah. Besides the typical ones, like aside from Abubakar or I mean, those obviously those guys are great,
Yeah,
Makambi
and Mane and them, yeah,
and
they're the
Mane.
big players,
But like it's I
but
think it's also
seeing these gems,
oh yeah yeah.
yes.
All right, but let me ask you: was there like A
And whoa,
horrible
we
delay.
can't forget about Afro rooted boy, man. Dango
Oh yeah,
Watara,
yeah.
man.
This is for EU.
Yeah, shout out EU, man.
Yeah, yeah. He'll maybe the next episode he'll talk about him real quick, just to like,
Yeah,
or ask
now
him
we have
some
to mention
video.
him, man. Dango Watara, the top sobas were good.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Uh,
real quick, was there like, it's not even usually like a typical question, but like, was there like an ugly moment or a moment that was like, a poor moment of the tournament?
I mean, on the field, yes, there's one. Like I'll tell you one on the field and one off the field. Like I feel like on the field was like a poor moment. I would say in the AFCON was the Mali Tunisia game where the ref blew the
Mm.
whistle like early twice, not once but twice. I feel like that kind of ruined it. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, they both ended up qualifying for the next round, but I feel like that was like a very poor decision, and I feel like it kind of ruined the atmosphere a bit. And off the field, I feel like it's the tragedy that happened, with the Cameroon Comoros game where eight people died like in a stampede outside the
Ah, yeah,
Olembe Stadium. And I feel like that those were like I feel like the two down moments, and for those people passing away, I feel like they did take security measures after that, but it shouldn't have taken like people passing away for you to take better security measures. So I don't know, something about that. It's like you're here to celebrate Africa. You're here in a great mood, and then when something like this happens, it's obviously it just kind of ruins the mood. And not only that, it's just what I mean. You're here to celebrate, and this is a lively thing,
mm.
And when people pass away, it's just I mean, my condolences to the families, but yeah, I feel like those were like the kind of the worst moments of the AFCON.
Yeah.
It
I
doesn't
think
even come close to like at first, like obviously before the tournament started there was a lot of doubts about
hosting.
like
Yeah,
hosting and on and whatnot, but that was nothing compared to what happened.
yeah. No, I think those are. I think aside from the moment, unfortunate people lost their lives during that moment. Yet the rest of the tournament wasn't too bad, and there were like minor incidents. I think aside from the unfortunate stampede, my moment or the things I did not like at the tournament were just the red cards, and I can just
Oh
point to maybe
yeah.
one example was
Oh yeah.
Like one example, just minor, like Alex Iwobi.
The Iwobi.
I
Oh
felt
yeah,
like
the
that was
Iwobi
just
one.
this is ridiculous, or maybe it's the way they use VAR, the way they look at it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert with it.
That could have been what ruined it for that, like they might have made the final, man. That like that team, like if they, and it was a very small margin that game again. I think we
It
mentioned
was
it
like one
in one of the
zero. Like
previous
they lost to
podcasts. One
Tunisia.
zero, and then you get a red card. Like that definitely changes the way everything is played, And I feel like Nigeria, the way they were playing, like they could have made the final. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, it played out the way it played out, and you know,
If not the
but
final, but not that early to go out, especially
no,
after their
not
group
not
stage.
that early. They could have really challenged for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know too much, but I don't know. I just don't like how the frequency of the red cards and how many. I think it was double digits. I'm not sure if it was almost 20 or less than 20 red cards in this tournament. But that's a lot of red cards
But they
regardless.
were dishing out red cards left and right like it was nothing, man. And I feel like it was just like, they just were so comfortable with it, and I
Yeah,
feel like that did kind of, mess up
I
the
think
AFCON a little bit.
because of the officiating and maybe like all those like red cards and the Mali Tunisia madness, like when Bamlak Tassama in the semifinal was refereed, and I think that's also why he got so much praise. It's like see this, he did a great job.
Yeah.
It's not a
Maybe it's not that he
madhouse.
did a great job. He just did what he was supposed to do, and
That's
like
it. I think
nobody else
it
did,
was simple. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was like oh he
Yeah.
just did
I
all the
think
right steps and he controlled the game.
somebody also was saying that, like, is it a good call because he, looked at the VAR and
Mm.
uh, rectified it, or was it a bad call to begin with? You know what I mean? What if there was no VAR? Maybe the conversation would be different. And you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, you're right. There was no
Yeah.
video.
I mean,
A different
but
call.
at least he wasn't dishing out red cards. It was a yellow card, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think a bit of sense. Not. I don't want to say use the word sensibility, but yeah, sensibility and just kind of. I don't know. I think not every. You don't want to affect the match too much, and you want to be fair and equal. And we I
Yeah.
think we kind of know the frequency where it's like the first half referees are less
You have to be
thinking
able
of.
to read the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not. I mean, I feel like obviously the FIFA has clear rules, you know,
yeah.
for the way the game's supposed to be played. But I feel like a lot of the things when it comes to refereeing, it's up to anybody's interpretation. You know, not everybody's gonna interpret the game the same way. You know, some things are very clear. You know what I mean? You don't go, you know,
Lunging
both legs
in
slide
two foot.
tackling
Yeah.
from behind or whatever. You know, there's some things that are like no brainers, but a lot of the stuff is more nuanced. You know, it's more. It depends on who the ref is. So, you know what I mean? So I mean, I guess that's just part of the game. But like you said, like a lot of the red cards were just not necessary.
Mm. No,
Yeah.
I'd say yeah. It was a in conclusion, at least my opinion. I feel like this tournament was a good tournament. It was a very entertaining, like up and down, interesting moments, beautiful moments.
Yeah.
Obviously sad moments, but moments of happiness. You know, um, and even like from production, I think people were like, okay, now we know what to do. I watched a little bit of the on YouTube, like some of the Super Sport, like
Hmm.
broadcasting some of their like coverage and how they did it. I was really
Okay.
really like of happy, and I was like, oh wow, he's. I was like, yeah, Kana's right. Like these guys are doing professional. Even their studio's amazing, and even
Yeah.
BN Sports, the Middle East broadcaster, their coverage of it was excellent. So, I think even from that side, like it's improving. They're giving it a lot of importance. So, I
Yeah.
have a lot of high hopes for the next one. Ivory Coast 23. Yeah, it was a
Ivory Coast
good
23
tournament.
is gonna be a good one, man.
Yeah, we'll be
Hopefully.
reporting live from the from the pitch side.
We'll see, man.
Oh,
Hopefully.
yeah,
You
yeah,
never know, man. But yeah, man, it was a great tournament overall too, man. I think you said most of it. Like I feel like we covered a great a good portion of this tournament. And for our viewers too, like thank you for tuning in throughout this tournament, man, and supporting us. Giving us your comments, feedbacks, and yeah, man, we appreciate your support. And yeah, man, we're gonna expect more content coming soon, man. World Cup qualifiers, we're gonna be covering that. Let us also know like what kind of things you wanna hear from us, right? Like if you guys want us to dive deeper into like maybe a Senegal, we could maybe do a little bit more research and dive into the team, how they got there, and like do a breakdown basically or something.
no, no, yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure. Just like us, just backtracking, whether it's Senegal, Gambia, South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, anyone, we'll definitely shove more comments. Anything else to add, Anna? Anything else we're missing, or besides EU is missing, but
oh yeah,
get
yeah, you couldn't
it.
join us today, man. But
He sends his hello. He says hello, guys. So
yeah, he'll see this when he edits. He does most of our editing, so
yeah, he's good. He's very yeah. He's a guy
yeah.
for us. But yeah, anything else
And
to add?
anything else to add? No, man. Great tournament. Yeah, I feel like we covered most of it, man.
Yeah.
Uh, that's it for me.
Yeah. All right. That's it for me as well. I think on that note, we can end it. We're having all the best. Don't
All right.
forget to like, subscribe, follow our
Yeah, man.
socials, Instagram, Twitter. What else are we? Is there YouTube as well? Obviously, subscribe there.
Yeah. But we had a TikTok, but like we'll
Oh
work on that. You know what I'm saying? A
yeah,
lot of people are on TikTok these days, so
yeah, yeah.
we'll
I gotta
work
get
on
back
that.
on it.
We're
So
getting familiar with the. We need to get a little bit more familiar with that platform, but yeah, be patient with us, man. We're still growing, so but
yeah.
yeah, there's more to come. And yeah, thank you guys for being with us today.